What's up? The Pelicans get throttled in the fourth quarter and crumble again, lose 106-104 to the Rockets. Let's jump into it. Chaz, what did you see there? I mean, obviously we lose 106-104, 27-20 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, give me your opinion on what you saw there late.
Man, I just feel like the Rockets are one of those teams. And, this is more about the Pelicans than the Rockets. But I kind of just felt like the Rockets went out there and played with their food the majority of the game. And some of the things we were doing, and me and you talk about this all the time. It's like, even when the Pelicans are scoring and, they're doing their thing, it's like how you get your shots makes sense, needs to make sense because it's a part of growth. I think, again, you saw Trey not get enough involvement in the action. I think Trey probably got 2 shots. One of them, he wide open 3 off the two-man game with Zion, knocks it down in the clutch. Another one, what's up, Lexa? Misses the shot, but it's like they throw him the ball at the end of the clock. It was just like a scramble drill. And it's like, bro, what are you doing, coach? Like, at this point, this is the second really bad loss you've had. Like, what coaching has been the problem in under a week. And this crazy, man. Second come from behind pause loss you've had. I guess
Yep, and that's a disheartening because I really did not think we played well at all. I didn't, I didn't think it was a really well played game. I didn't think we shot it all that good. Didn't think it just felt like a somewhat disjointed game. Having said that, it's the NBA, and we had every opportunity to win the game, and then you just crumble in the fourth quarter. You just absolutely crumble. And, Jeremiah Robinson Earl gets 10 minutes, plays 22 overall after, barely being involved for the last month. Şengün just destroys the poor guy. I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, not funny, but Udoka's a good coach. As soon as JV picks up that 6th foul, Şengün was in the game before JV ever even got off the court.
Yeah,
he checked in before JV ever even got off the court. And said, "Let me go finish my dinner real quick."
Yo, did you notice? And I don't know if the people in the chat notice. Please make sure y'all hit the like button too, please, y'all.
Smash that thing. Smash that thing.
Yeah, man. And yeah, the missed free throws were bad too. And I was about to mention free throws. Jerome Seagun was at the line, right? Seagun, he's shooting 2 free throws. Udoka calls a timeout. He calls over Dylan Brooks, and he's like coaching him up, telling him like, "Yo, we got this." Da da da. The game, the courage you gotta have as a head coach, and they racing outside my house. The courage you gotta have as a head coach. This is a close game. You're in the clutch. You got your big man shooting at the free throw line. You call a timeout and split his free throws, killing his rhythm and momentum, just so you can tell your guys, look, we're not fucking around here. We can beat these dudes. So all we got to do is this. And they come back and they win. And oh my God, Willie, do you feel like in this instance, because we've seen this before, do you feel like this is a staff issue, or you feel like the players they generally just revert back to what they know?
Well, it's both for me. I mean, I think that definitely happens with the players. I mean, I really didn't think Brandon played a bad game at all. But I think you saw at the end there that he reverts back to the type of things that you really aren't looking at. Right? I think we missed a shot late in the shot clock. End up with a long rebound. The ball never moves again. He ends up with just for no reason at all. A shot that he could have got with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Right. Just kind of hangs out over there on the wings. Takes a really tough contested fall away mid range. Doesn't make it. Next possession down, nobody touches it, kind of, dribbles himself over into basically the exact same shot, misses it again. And so I think that part of it is players kind of reverting back during times of adversity. But no, this whole thing's on coaching, man. I mean, look, Herb Jones can't throw it in the ocean right now.
Right.
For him not to play in the fourth quarter in favor of Jeremiah Robinson.
Yeah, he was 2 for 4. He was 2 for 4.
Well, yeah, he was, but in general, offensively, he's been a little out of sorts. If there was ever a time for you to play Zion at the 5, or not whether he's playing actually defending the 5 or not. We all know what that means with Zion playing the 5.
Right.
That's the CJ, Herb, Brandon, Zion, Trey lineup, right? Whoever's guarding Şengün, it didn't matter. Chris Connor said it best earlier. We don't rebound when JV's out of the game anyway. So
Anyway, right.
what's the purpose? Jeremiah Robinson Earl wasn't gonna be any more of a deterrent to Şengün than Zion or Trey would have been. So at that point, it felt like, hey, let's go try. Or even Herb. Herb is capable defending centers at certain times. This felt like a game that you absolutely, in that fourth quarter, should have gone small. Instead, what do?
And Lexa brought up a great point, because me and you were just talking about this, right? The Pelicans record. She mentioned the Pelicans being 0-5 within games with 3 points, right? Lexa, if you zoom out to 5 points, the Pelicans are 4-13. 4-13 with record when the point differential has been 5 or below this season. That's insane. That's insane, man. Because it's like, at a certain point, when you see things, because we pretty much know or have an idea what we think would work during the course of the game. Parking Dyson Daniels in the corner, or Zion or Herb in the corner, that's not something like, where would that even work at? That wouldn't work anywhere, right? Because at some point you need an outlet, and you need those people to be able to take advantage of those wide open jumpers. Dyson's missing wide open jumpers, right? So why not just get Trey and Zion involved in the action? Because it's going to lead to a wide open, efficient jumper. And Trey is showing the ability to kind of put the ball on the ground and get to the cup. I just don't understand it. And it's something that you can see from the beginning of the game. Like, just the unwillingness to play Trey and Zion together for large chunks of time just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think it makes any sense to any of us, truthfully.
In fact, he checked in for him. That's the funniest thing to me. It would be one thing if those minutes were like overlapped or staggered, or like, with conditioning, it just wasn't working out where you were getting like long chunks of time.
Right.
But in fact, Trey is checking in for Zion. Like, that means it's like a purposeful thing that we're doing. Like, these two guys that literally should pretty much only be on the court together.
Right.
We're purposely making sure that doesn't happen. That's just utter nonsense. Like, there's things that we do on a consistent basis that are inexcusable. There is no defense for. Like, I don't understand it. Willie Green, like, it's time that Willie Green really starts answering some tough questions around what the hell we are doing. He said, hey, we got to get better with late game rotations. That sure as hell didn't happen today. It's the same shit over and over, and it amounts to losses over and over. We win games despite Willie Green.
Right.
At this point, it's unbelievable, and I think we all gave him the benefit of the doubt for a long time. Some of us longer than others, but there's now things that are just happening over and over. It's inexcusable. I mean, the way we played in the last 4 minutes of this game were pathetic. We looked like we've never. I mean, we didn't look like we had an offensive set that we felt comfortable even calling.
The sad part, bro, is that none of us were surprised about how it ended. And that's the frustrating part. Like, a lot of people see us too specifically and how frustrated we get, because it's like, yo, you can't get too high on this team, because, okay, you go out and you beat the Cleveland Cavaliers without Davion Mitchell. Spider. And you come tonight and you lay a total fucking egg when you had a lead. The fact that they weren't able to extend the lead speaks volumes to me, because Houston wasn't playing well. You had the bonus. You could have continued to attack Seagan downhill. He had about 4 fouls. And it's just, you totally went away from that, and you just started playing this weird brand of basketball. Shout out to JRE, but JRE taking threes in the clutch. You know what I'm saying? Zion losing the shoe, trying to make I think JRE, he drove baseline, and Zion tried to make the jump pass. And it was about 3 of these plays that happened. It's just with the ball. It was like, what the fuck are y'all doing? CJ was kind of sloppy to close, dribbling the air out the ball a little bit, and the whole time we're in the bonus. Like no one's thinking get to the line. Like you know what I'm saying? It's all glory shots, and that's really the most frustrating part to me because I'm like, Willie, like what are you drawing up here? Like what's happening? Like it don't make no sense, bro. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I've been talking, talk a lot of basketball.
Don't check your text messages.
Oh,
By the
well,
way,
look, we talk a lot of basketball outside of these group chats, and I got a buddy who always, gives you this old adage of, blow losses, bad players, close losses, bad coaches. I mean, it's like the numbers are starting to speak for themselves in terms of close losses. And I'll tell you the other one that's pretty damning is how many times do we lose to a team on a back-to-back?
oh my God,
I
bro, Memphis. We just lost to Memphis on a back-to-back.
I mean, it's just time and time again. Chicago, Memphis, Houston. It's a who's who of just run-of-the-mill teams that we let beat the shit out of us on second night of back-to-backs. I mean, the other part, Houston's a god-awful road team. What are they, 3-12 or whatever the hell they are on the road?
Right.
I mean, you got to take care of business. Look, I'll be honest. I don't love the matchup, and I'm not like I don't think Houston is a great team yet, but I don't find it to be a great matchup for us in the way that I find like some other teams to be.
Mm-hmm.
But even having said that, it's just a game you have to win. Like you have every opportunity. It's not, like you said earlier. Like I didn't think Houston even played well.
Yeah.
Like you just lost to a team that played as shitty as you did, and maybe even shittier. Like at a certain point.
Yo, shout out to Thomas. He made a really good point. There was a stretch, right, where it was Jose. it was Jose. Jose, he dribbles into traffic. Like Trey is on the right wing. Jose dribbles into traffic. Trey wide open, right? Doesn't pass on the ball. On the other end, what's my man name? Jabari Smith, right? He gets the first pass, knocks it down on Trey, ironically. And you could just see Trey kind of get a little dejected. Like, damn, I wish they was passing me the ball like that. Like, oh, I wish there was something in the works, for me to take advantage of. And I think to Thomas's point with the ISO ball, I really feel like with this team, they get into the habit of playing too free. And that's the issue with Willie Green. And everyone wants to be a part of the fun, right? And you leave so much money on the table when you play like that because let's not stop doing what got us here, and that's playing efficiently and attacking downhill, feet in the hot hand. And I think this team, in times at times they could be totally undisciplined. And with how many games have we played so far? We going on like 25, 20, like it's between 25 and 30 games at this point. Yeah. And it's like, y'all still working on some of the same issues. And some of this stuff is coaching. The rotation is coaching. Like
we're healthy.
And we're healthy.
And we're healthy. Like that.
Well, Cody Zeller's out, but But nah, we healthy. We healthy for real.
It is, and that's the thing that everybody like we're kind of like that excuse is just about at the end of the road, right? Like this whole thing of, well, these guys haven't played together, or Willie hasn't had enough time, or we don't really know what to do in late game situations. Well, fuck, we've been in a million late game situations this year, all of which we've lost, all of which we have not changed a single damn thing. But we got all the players here. Like, we got everybody, and we got the coaches. So, like, what's going on?
Do you think, let me ask you this. I think you know the answer, but I'm just interested in hearing, what you think. Do you think what we're seeing is a good reflection of JB's offense? Do you think this is Coach James's offense, or do you think guys are kind of going rogue? What do you think is happening here?
You old sandbag. James Borrego has this is no part of his offense. Like what you saw tonight, he might as well not be on the staff. In my opinion, I don't like it. I don't think you saw his fingerprint on this offense one bit. Go watch. Just anybody who thinks they did, just go rewatch the fourth quarter. no ball movement, no player movement, no creativity. Our, you know, part of me almost felt bad for Zion at one point in the fourth quarter because if he gave the ball up, if there was a single action and it wasn't there and he moved the ball, made the right play, made the right pass,
He wasn't
there
getting it
wasn't
back.
a chance in hell he was getting it back.
He wasn't getting it back.
Not one chance. Go stand in the corner. Your turn. You had your turn. Your turn is over. Go play defense. You'll get another turn next possession. Like that is like the most anti JV offense. I mean, just go watch it. The answer to your question is no. Just stop. I can go on for 2 hours on that one.
The play that represented just what you said to me specifically, it was this play, bro. Is when Dyson drove baseline and missed the layup off the glass. And I'm not trying to pick on Dyson, but Dyson had a hell of a night. Like, look, so Zion gets a steal. It's a loose ball. Dyson grabs the ball. Like, Dyson, what you doing? This motherfucker trips and lays. He's just laying on the floor. I'm like, Dyson, this is a fast break dunk right here. What's happening here, man? And it's just, I don't understand. I do understand him getting minutes over Hawkins as far as defense, but when you look at a game like tonight where his defense isn't really impacting the game, you see they're leaving the corner wide open right there. You got the look right there. Why don't you adjust if you're Coach Willie and put Hawkins in that position? If he misses, he misses. It's still the right thing to do. So that's something. Or even if you want to put Najee been shooting well from the corner, but put an actual outlet shooter right there so they can fucking do something. So it's just, man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, look, we're obviously we hadn't really given Robinson Earl that hard of a time, but I mean,
yeah,
he deserves to get a hard time. Pause. But I was a little surprised. I mean, obviously, was very surprised to see no Herb. That, like, to me, that's just inexcusable and unexplainable. But I thought maybe even if I don't know if Herb picked up an injury or whatever, he wasn't going to play. I found it odd that maybe we didn't even see Najee in that spot. Because of the type of game that Houston plays, very physical on the wings, the way Najee has shot the ball this year, I really thought maybe you would even see him at some point in the fourth quarter, and we were just rolling with like what we had there.
Yeah,
it just didn't make any sense. And I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and I can't get to anything other than just this unbelievably middle school basic like thinking that Willie Green has, like, gotta have a center out there. I mean, gotta have one.
And it's like, bro, to what end? Because Segun, you can't do nothing with him, but he can't do nothing with y'all neither. So why are you adjusting when there's no need to adjust in this situation? Like, Segun had about 4 fouls. Let's say you do put Herb on him. Like, okay, even if you had Zion defending them, Zion is solid defensively in the post.
Mm-hmm.
Like Segun, and we haven't even talked about the craziest Segun bucket yet. It's about 8 seconds left on the clock. They go and try to trap in the backcourt. Cherry pick play on the other end for Segun. And in my mind, I'm like, why the fuck are you even trapping? It's 8 seconds left. Neither team is shooting the free throws well. Just foul them. But I wouldn't even be surprised if they told them to foul and they just didn't foul. Man, shout out to you, Chris. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah. Hey, man, this team, hey, we professionals. This team is rough.
Yeah, if nothing else, they give you something to talk about.
Yeah, man.
I mean, did you see a positive out there? I mean, I guess let's just flip to the positive. Flip to not the positive, because I know there's very few, but did anything stand out?
I liked Zion's energy defensively and on the boards. I liked Brandon's getting to the rim and getting to the free throw line. I still feel like those two guys play as two individual entities versus those two guys playing off of one another as a collective unit. And I feel like I like Trey as the first sub off the bench. Now, that might be crazy to some people that I even have to mention that, but it's like, no, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Like Trey coming up, being first off the bench, that's not always guaranteed. I like the 2 3-point attempts by Zion. And Patrick said Brandon had 5 assists and no turnovers. So that's also really good. But I just feel like, man, for these guys, they undo so much of they're going up against the coaching staff, their own shortcomings, and the other team. And that's a lot to overcome, man. It really is. Cause I thought they got a good whistle tonight defensively, or at least a decent whistle. So I don't blame officiating whatsoever. It just seems like this team, when you separate the creme de la creme from one another, and these teams start separating and stuff like that, you really see. Look at Kai. Shout out to my man Kai, who's in the building. His daughter fell asleep watching the game. Good for her. So she missed the end of the game. Shout out to Kai. Yeah, man. It's I don't know. They played hard, I guess. I give them that.
Well, the irony in that is that, it kind of shit just frustrates the hell out of me, is that, the first thing Willie says in the post-game presser, they're a tougher team than we are right now.
Dude.
How tone deaf. Like, is he just not is he not watching the same game, or does he just have a total lack of self-awareness?
Is he not watching us?
Yo, somebody said he was watching. He must not be watching. Somebody lied to him. Willie, you watching?
No, we just talked
Smash the
about
like button if you are, Willie.
Please, Willie, hit the like button, bro, so we know what's going on. We about to start taking questions in a second. Like, we just spoke about this on one of the last shows. We just said, Coach, you don't have to say everything that comes to your mind. Keep some shit for the locker room. Don't go out there. Why would you tell this team that you might have to see in the playoffs that they're tougher than you? You know what I'm saying? Why would you do that? A team made up of a couple of rookies. You got the Thompson twin, Jabari, second-year player. Jalen Green hasn't really found his footing yet. Segun, I think, is like a second, third-year player.
Third.
And it's like, coach, rookie head coach, and you going out there telling them that they're tougher than you. Like, come on, man. Well, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like,
and there's that part of it, and then there's the other part of it is like, that's literally all you took away. Like, that's all you have. That you got nothing else for us. Like, nothing a little more insightful. Nothing a little more self-reflective. Other than it just goes back to the same nonsense of like, I just don't think he's cut out. I don't. He's not cut out for it. He just isn't.
Ross, but like, as a person who works in a leadership position, like, it's crazy because it's like, Coach, if you recognizing that during the game, why aren't you fucking saying anything? Why are you not picking up the text? Like, you wait to the post game to say, oh, the refs didn't call anything for Zion. Coach, you got 48 minutes to make your opinion count.
And 2 texts.
And 2 texts. Yeah, what are you doing?
He brings them things home with him. Golly, how many texts he brought home with him over the years. Fuck.
And you're going to say that after Jose and Najee get into like a little light scrummage. So now, what are you saying about them? They're not tough neither. Like, what the fuck are you saying, Coach? Oh my God, man. It's crazy. Y'all start dropping some he's saving money for church. Y'all start dropping some questions in the chat, man. We appreciate y'all joining us especially after that. Shout out to Kai 504 born the real. Problem is Griff. Griff built this building environment where everyone's equal. And look at Zion. He had 3 points at the end of the third. Nah, man, everyone don't get their shots. He had 3 points. I think you mean three attempts at the end of the third, Kai? What you mean? Oh, you mean free throws?
I don't know exactly what he means, but I think Zion didn't get his first attempt in the second half until pretty late in the third quarter. Like, very late.
Yeah.
And it was after a great first half. And look, I think part of it is in a roundabout way, what he's saying is there is a little too much there's no hierarchy, and I know you've talked about that for shit going back at least a year, maybe more than that. There's no hierarchy, and sometimes people can see that as a good thing of like, we're like, best man gets a shot, like whoever's no. That's not the way this game works. That's not the way it works, and we don't ever. It's back to that thing of like, we don't ever exploit the weakness. We don't ever like just go with the hot hand until it just burns out. We it's just not how like they don't play that way, and it's because they're not coached that way. But like that's just the way the NBA works. Like the superstar, it wins you games. The all-star wins you games. Like
Right.
sometimes the whatever the game plan is goes out the window, and it turns into how do we get as many open looks for our star or stars or whatever, whoever's hot, doesn't matter, as possible. And there's just never seems to be a concerted effort. I mean, even in the first half today, I found myself thinking, man, Zion's had a great first half, and it's all off script, all of
Yeah.
it. Nothing is like, man, we really drew up something nice, got him up, got him. Even to draw up something, get him into a favorable matchup.
Right.
It's too often where it just seems like maybe he finds himself in a favorable matchup. Maybe he just is just beating his guy one-on-one off the dribble, whatever it might be. It's never. I mean, I saw somebody mentioned earlier, like it feels like we never draw up a play for Trey. Like there's nothing that ever seems like the end result of it is meant to be a 3-point look for Trey Murphy. Now
Yeah.
sometimes we get that look, but it's not because we drew something up with the intent of that. Outside of maybe the one in the fourth quarter, but even that was just kind of a Zion Trey pick and roll. I think. I mean, I don't think it was like a or whoever it was. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what that last comment is alluding to. There's just no hierarchy.
I think because I saw a couple people talking about this play. I got to go back and rewatch it. On second watch, I watched it a couple times. That particular play, it looked like Zion's guy was Dylan Brooks, and Dylan Brooks at the top of the key. I think Segan was on the right wing, and Dylan Brooks passed to Segan. Brandon ran out to contest Segan. I think it might not have been Segan, but he went out to contest the right wing, and Jabari cut, and he was just right underneath the basket for a dunk. So I don't put too much credence into that play specifically. I felt like this shouldn't have been as close as a game as it was. But Robert, he's asking a question. It's it's I can't say it's an overreaction. I do feel like it's something that needs to be discussed as far as I don't think it happens because you don't have to fire him, right? Because he hasn't been extended. So you can like internally demote him and turn over quote unquote coaching duties. But it's kind of like I don't know, man. I think it would be another black eye on the team. It would be like the fifth one, but it would be another black eye on the team if you tried to like move on from Willie Green, and then you're doing it in the like you basically have an interim coach because you're doing it in like the quarter through the season. I don't know, man. To Thomas's point, I do think it's a lot of improvisation out there, but I do think they kind of, I hate to say stuck with him. I do think they kind of stuck with him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. There's almost. I mean, I hate to make the like super obvious reference point, but like they're saying Dennis Allen is safe for next year,
No 504.
and this is the same ownership group. It's the same people in charge generally making those decisions. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to sit here and say like what does he have to do to get fired? Fuck if I know. Shit. If Dennis Allen ain't done it, then I don't know. I don't know what you have to do to get fired by this group right now.
I think that's why I really think that they just gonna let the contract just run its course.
It's a funny
And
contract.
yo, man, I just, if you're ownership, do you pay the tax for a team like this? Like even like at this
Oh, they're
point,
not paying the tax.
hell no, right?
They're not paying the tax.
So it's like
They'll
if you're not paying the tax, it always gets to the point where it's like, what's the point of this shit? Because you're not in that super upper echelon of teams. I do think this team could possibly get to the second round, but I can't even guarantee y'all a playoff appearance at this point because at any given time, when healthy, this team could like lose 5-6 games in a row. Like it's just like what the fuck.
And it's like, and it's hard to I hate to just always be negative, but like when you go back and look at this team where we are right now, right? Like let me just I'll tell you. All right, here's kind of your last sequence of games, and generally speaking, close to the Rockets. Yeah, the you beat the Spurs, then you lose to a bad Bulls team, then you obviously the play-in stuff, right? The Kings get blown out by the Lakers, Timberwolves, and then it's a lot of bad wins. In the Timberwolves game, what Anthony Edwards didn't
Edwards
play,
didn't play. Yeah.
right? And then you beat the Wizards, you beat a bad Hornets team without most of their best players, Spurs again, and then you lose to the Grizzlies. And then you go beat Cleveland without their three best players because I don't really played either. So no
Oh yeah. Oh
Garland,
yeah.
no
I forgot Mobley and Garland.
yeah,
Wow.
no
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying so it's like I mean you're going to play a G League team there. It's like there just isn't many like strong wins over this last 3 weeks for me to get excited about. Like we haven't done one thing for me to say, oh yeah, we're about to go on a run. And you guys spend a lot of time talking about how December should be a banner month. And it hasn't been. It's been just, in my opinion, incredibly lackluster. And that's scary, right? Because the whole thing with this team was, ooh man, when we're healthy. Ooh, just wait till we're healthy. And we're healthy right now. And I find that we look worse than we did last year when Zion was playing and we weren't fully healthy.
Yeah. Do you feel like for me, and I'm not trying to harp on Willie Green too much, but it's like because the benefit of doubt I'm kind of giving him is like I'm almost wondering, like, because to your point, they looked a little better last season when they weren't healthy. I'm almost wondering, it's like, is this your coaching style based on certain, like, your star players wanting certain things, or is this just you? Because it looked night and day last season. It looked like we were playing it way faster. The court looked a bit more open, and this is the same exact roster. Like, so I really don't understand.
I don't either. That's very scary to me because it in some ways it feels like we've like regressed. Certainly from a play style perspective. I mean, this is tonight was awful. It was awful to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not one thing that's fun about the way we played tonight.
It's like when you go back and watch them old heavyweight fights from back in the day, Joe Frazier, 15 rounds, slugfest. And it's like, yo, this is kind of like some bullshit because again, you could count on one hand how many times he really got out in fast break and just had like this insane high flying thing there. Brandon had a really nice dunk drive to the rim. He had some nice finishes, but this team just doesn't look like they play with any type of heightened sense of urgency. And that's just like, come on, is it just me or do we feel like, okay, losing? Right. But I mean, well, I'll say this. I always say, Thomas, you can run across the street in traffic a bunch of times and not get hit by a car, but it only take one time for your ass to get hit. And what happens with this team is they get away with doing things the wrong way so many times because you might have a soft schedule. You might play a team missing 3 or 4 of their best guys. And when they typically when that those things catch up with them, you see how flawed the process is. For me, I would almost rather for them to just lean into, all right, this is a bad process. Let's move on from this person or this player or that player. So I think even I don't want them to do something just for the sake of doing it. I'll say that. If you feel like, yo, this is a problem, like identify who the problem is and move on from that person. And I think it's about time. Personally, I thought it's been time.
Yeah, shout out Thomas. Look, I think this is a good question, and um, appreciate you sending us this question. But I would feel better if it looked the
Yeah.
right way, or if we felt like the process. Like, of course, we're not advocating for losing. Like we want. I mean, I can't. It's ridiculous. I feel like we have to like say this each other. Like we want to win all of the games. Like I want the Pelicans to go 82-0. The fact of the matter is, you're going to lose some games. The
Right.
problem is the way we lose games. And so in a situation like tonight, like there's almost like no way to look back and say like, well, you lost to the 500 Rockets at home on the second night of a back-to-back fully held. Like there's almost no way without if you didn't watch the game, if I just told you that, you're not gonna be like, okay, well maybe there's some justifiable reason. Like, and I tell you like, no, nobody got hurt in the game either. Like we just lost.
Right.
The only way it would make sense is if you watched the game and it was a scenario where, oh, you got guys in foul trouble, or like you just didn't make shots, or uh like something that looked normal, or they shot the lights out of it, right? Like you're gonna lose in the NBA sometimes. It's the fact that we continue to lose the exact same way with the exact same players.
Yeah.
And that to me is what's not okay. We're not changing anything. We're not doing anything different. We're not playing different lineups. We're not even playing the appropriate lineups together. It's things like that that are just infuriating at times. And Chaz, I want to go back real quick to something
Mhm.
you were just saying about how it seems like we're playing slower. I watched a bunch of the Nuggets and Nets game yesterday, and it wasn't like I hate when people call a game like a track meet because it implies like teams aren't playing defense or something. But there are times that even after a made basket, those two teams are getting the ball out of the rim
Right.
and making an attempt to like push the ball up the court with a sense of urgency to see if something is easy, right? To see if you might be able to get something or just get into your offense quickly. It feels like we play so much slower. Like if you, anybody with league pass or anything, like I challenge you to go watch that game or go watch a quarter of that game from last night and compare it to the way we play. There's just a sense of urgency and a sense of purpose, and it was just it was fun basketball to watch. For like, I don't give a shit about the nuts. I definitely don't give a shit about the nuts, but I don't give a shit about the Nets or the Nuggets either. And but it was a fun game to watch, and you can tell that the teams are engaged. They're playing defense. They're playing offense, and it goes back to this thing of like I just hate the style of basketball we play.
Yeah. And I got a little flag for it. I referenced it as, some random guy throwing the ball, and I was wrong for that. I can admit when I'm wrong. It wasn't some random guy. It was Derek Carr. It's Derek Carr throwing the ball, and it's like, bro, at some point, like your teammates get deflated. Even your teammates get deflated playing a certain kind of way. When these guys break off and do the ISO ball thing, because it's not. And it's funny because it's some players who shouldn't be doing no ISO ball whatsoever. Like, dude, you lucky to be on the team and you doing ISO ball shit. It just goes to show you that there's no real collective understanding, and that's what really fucks me up. Where it's like, bro, all right, this dude got 18 points in the first half. Give him the ball. Like, just give him the ball, get out the way. This guy, he just hit like 4 or 5 shots in a row. Give him the ball, like kind of, get the fuck out the way. Or this guy here, he's a 50, what is it, 50, 40, 90 guy. Draw up something for him. Let's get him a couple looks. Even and shout out to Antonio Daniels, thugging it through the telecast. But he was, when Trey took his absolute first shot, you can tell it was a frustration jumper. It was a total frustration jumper. He was like, just fucking and just threw the ball. It's tough, man. It really is tough because when you look at the games we dropped and you counted them off, but you look at the Memphis game, you look at this game, both Houston games, you look at the Bulls game, you look at some of the other games, it's like this team could be in a very different position in the seeding, and that could change ownership's vantage point of how they might want to invest into the team. That could change some of the moves you're able to make. Right now, you got Larry on the bench. You got what's my man EJ Liddell, who doesn't even dress out. Like, he's not even dressed, Ross. He's not even in like a warm-up. He's not even dressed, right? You got Matt Ryan on the second row sitting next to the therapist. And it's like, bro, these are like, EJ, this is a roster spot. Larry Nance, this is a roster spot. Kyra, this is a roster spot. These are all things we could have upgraded. It is like, come on, man. Like, it ain't like the starting unit just lighting shit on fire neither. That's the scariest part. Because it's the starters who aren't lighting shit on fire. Like it's terrible.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because I think it's something that probably needs to be looked at moving forward. At least in terms of if you're not going to make a change to the starting unit, how quickly do you make your first substitution so that you can sort of mitigate possible negative effects there? But looking forward, I mean, this was another shit game, another shit performance in the fourth quarter. You got 3 straight home games against three teams that generally have their way with us. I mean, maybe not the Grizzlies quite as much as the Jazz and Lakers, but yeah, I think we got Grizzlies and then Lakers, or Grizzlies and Jazz, then Lakers. And so,
That's
you
tough.
know, I mean, it's comical to sit here and say like that Jazz game, but like
Right.
because I don't think you mentioned the Jazz in your game.
Oh yeah, I
Your
haven't yet, and
post-All-Star.
back-to-back losses, unhealthy.
And so
No
yeah,
Laurie.
they've got marketing back. It's just tough. You sit here and you get all excited, and now I'm like, I mean, I don't feel good about any of these games.
Yeah, I think, and Memphis is at home. You said?
They're all three are in New Orleans.
Okay. Damn.
I mean, surely they'll show up. Surely they'll show up.
Surely they'll show. Hopefully they're not
against the
national,
Grizzlies.
any national, because then we can go ahead and chalk
I
that up
don't
as
think.
L.
I don't
But
think.
I just see 3 bad matchups. I see 3 bad matchups there, man. Because I don't even think what's the guy? Is it Kessler? Did Kessler even play in those Jazz games?
I think it was like his first game back. His first game. I mean, like limited minutes.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. And that's the thing with this team. This team could show up and blow out the Lakers, who are playing bad right now. They could show up and blow out the Grizzlies. But it's like you just never know. You can't gamble on this team. Like if I can't set my watch to at least how a team plays, win or lose, if you play the same exact way every night, I'm like, well, we know they're gonna show up and they're gonna shoot threes, they're gonna rebound. But with this team, you just never know. Like Zion had 8 rebounds. If Zion got 2 rebounds tomorrow, I wouldn't be shocked. Or next game, I'll be like, oh yeah, Zion. That's kind of how he plays. Brandon had 2 3-point attempts tonight. If Brandon show up and go 5 for 5, I would be like, hey, that happens sometimes with him, like this season.
Exactly.
So you just never know. Hawkins has 2 25-point games. How come? Willie Green prioritizes defense, man. I'm not mad at Dyson getting minutes with Larry being out. But if you see Dyson just don't have it that night, you gotta pivot to Hawkins. You gotta pivot, you gotta adjust, man. So I don't know. Ross, any other thoughts, man?
No, that's a wrap for me tonight. I think we it's just another disappointing performance. I really wish I could point to something that I think will change in the next close game, but I really can't. So I don't know. You got the Grizzlies at home right after Christmas. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy your families. Hope
Be
Santa
safe, y'all.
brings your kids something good. And with that, let's hear from our sponsor, DraftKings.
Yep. Oh, I got it. I got Lala depressed.
DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers an exclusive offer just for NBA fans. This week, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, score an NBA League Pass subscription on us for the rest of the season. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BOOT. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5. Plus, score an NBA League Pass subscription on us. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOT. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
Hey, yo, I didn't leave that Dyson thing on there on purpose, y'all. Just for the people. It was a total accident.
All right. See y'all.
All right, y'all. Be good. Peace.